Gusto, they're a payroll provider. They also have HR services and other technologies that a lot of our clients like to use. In this video, we're going to review some of the products and features that our clients like to use, and also what is the buying process? How do you work with Gusto? Is it really easy to set up? Well, we'll go through some of those items. Also, we'll go through some of the frequently asked questions that people have while they're looking at the product. We're going to do that by going through their website together. All right, so let's take a dive in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move me over here. All right, so when you come to the website, it's pretty simple, but at times our clients have told us that it can be a little overwhelming. Why? Well, because Gusto does a lot. When you look at the different products that they have, really there's three different categories. There's the payroll, employee benefits, and HR. So how does that break down? Payroll is anything related to paying your people and doing tax filings, right? There's employee benefits. So employee benefits could mean Gusto, they could be your broker, or you can also work with the broker like our clients do. They have us go in there as the broker of record and we help them manage everything. We still pick the plans, do all that. With HR, there's hiring, onboarding, talent management, and compliance. Now, this part is important to me. Why? Because you don't want to miss anything in this section. A lot of people think like, hey, I'll just go ahead and just get the payroll product. But realistically, I think it does make a ton of sense to look at the full suite, especially if you're paying more than just yourselves. Maybe you have a few contractors, a few employees. You're also looking to offer benefits in a 401k. It's really important that all these systems talk together. Why is that? Well, because you don't want to miss any paperwork. A lot of timelines, a lot of things to remember. And sometimes when you're hiring, I've seen it, things have to happen quickly, or even with offboardings. So if we look at the features, there's time and attendance, there's workers' comp, there's integrations, hiring, all that stuff. We'll go through that in a second. But what a lot of people want to know too is when is it right to use Gusto? So I think the best place for us to start off with is their pricing. They actually do a great job here of explaining everything. So they're very open and transparent about their model. There's the $40 per month, $80 per month, and exclusive pricing. Contact us for details. So of course the premium is going to be a lot more, I guess, robust. It's going to connect the entire employee life cycle. And it's also going to connect you to certain HR features that you may need, right? This is really about helping you create a platform that's a little more complex. We'll get into that in a moment. Most of our clients start off when it's just themselves. They might just get the simple package. They just want to do payroll very quickly. And you can see here, it's $40 per month and $6 per person. So if you have one person, it's 46 bucks. You got two people, it's 52. And if you had, say, 10 people, it would be $100 per month. But what do they do? What's the difference between this one and this one that's double? Right? 200 bucks a month for the same 10 people. What's the difference? Right? Let's look into that. So you can see with the payroll details, pretty much the same. Right? It says everything the simple plus. So here when they say full service single state payroll, including W-2s and 1099s, that means everybody has to be in one spot. So a lot of our clients are in multiple states. They're remote. They're working in several different areas. They might have a developer in New York. They typically go for the premium, right? Now, when you look at full support, what does that mean? Full support in this scenario just means like, hey, you have access to their chat team. You can ask and troubleshoot questions. They do have a support line. And look, there's certain times when they may be busier than others, but they usually do a pretty good job of getting back to you in a business day or so, right? As long as you know your right questions. Employee profiles and self-service. So this is actually pretty cool. A lot of the smaller clients I have who don't necessarily have an HR department, their teams find it very useful that they don't need to bug the owner. Hey, do I need, like how can I get my check stub? They just get everything right there. Basic hiring and onboarding tools. Look, they'll put the W-4s on there, the I-9s, a couple other things. Gusto brokered health insurance administration. So look, I broker a lot of accounts for our clients that use Gusto, and usually I get them from this service that they may have started out with. So some of our clients wonder what the difference is. It's if Gusto is your broker of record, when you're choosing plans, going through open enrollment, you'll deal with their service team. When you have health insurance through our team, we work with you and help administer it through Gusto still. And the main benefit our clients usually want from that is they need a little bit of guidance as far as which health plans do we select, and they want somebody with a longer term strategy and just honestly it's a different approach to the insurance. This is usually a pretty streamlined, very easy solution for folks with small groups, but we do work with a lot of small group clients that prefer to work with our team on that. So you can bring your broker in or just work with Gusto. Doesn't really matter here. Employee financial benefits. It's like 401ks, all that, HSA, FSA. So this is something that you can plug in, right? And what I do like about this is, look, in San Francisco or New York, for example, you have to administer commuter benefits. Right? You have to have a pre-tax way for people to be able to pay for their parking or travel or things that qualify there. 529 college savings, all that. You can actually do it right there on the platform. So there's not a lot of very simple payroll products that allow you to do that. Gusto does that very well. Integration. So for accounting, time tracking, expense management, you can plug in a lot of those items. There is a whole app store that we can go through in a little bit here. But in all sincerity, I mean, this product here does take care of a lot of needs for people if everyone's in the same state. Now, if you have multi-state payroll, see, that's what makes double. It is worth its weight in gold to do this. Why? Well, because they're going to go ahead and manage the process of you doing all of your state returns, whether it's, hey, we're HQ'd in California, familiar with the EDD, but, you might have some folks in New York or Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. It starts to become a lot. We've had clients that have had 15 people in 10 different states. So this is something that if you have a remote workforce in multiple states, you'll want to go with this one. Next day direct deposit. This is very important for when, hey, you want to get your team paid very quickly. You don't want to have a huge lead time in between getting things done. A lot of our clients that may have like sales organizations or may close their pay periods out very close to the check date. They may want to use this. So again, like the pay period might be over on the 10th for some, and then they only need 5 days before their next check date, which is the 15th. And the folks who may need this might have hey, we close off the pay period on the last day of the month and we pay the first day of the month. Sometimes like those situations do require you to have next day direct deposit. Advanced hiring and onboarding tools. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. One-click software provisioning, hiring documents, e-signed and stored. So what they do here is they actually give you a full checklist of what you need, and you create workflows that allow you to just onboard an employee and keep all of the HR documents in one place. Most of my clients are on this plan, so I'm not sure exactly how watered down it is compared to how the simple version might be watered down and compared to this. All my clients use this, and the tool seems to work well for those who take the time to set it up. PTO management and policies. So you can actually do time off approvals. You can do, customize your holiday pay, right? Some people want to actually pay for, hey, everybody's off 4th of July. We'll give you still half pay, even if you're working or not. Or we may pay you, it might be a nationally recognized holiday and we fully pay everyone. That'll be notated and it'll show up on the pay stub. So you can create those rules when you set everything up. Automatic payroll syncing. So, this is important. Some systems do not automatically sync directly to payroll. I think that is a feature that might have been highlighted a few years back, but many people who are using any software provider for payroll, they typically do have this feature as well. So it's not usually not going to be a big surprise if you're looking to compare this to some of the other national payroll providers. Time and tracking and on projects. So this is actually very important depending on your industry. If you have a lot of employees and you're doing IT, and let's just say you're wanting to track, hey, how much time is he spending in project A versus project B? Project A, you may compensate a engineer at $35 an hour or $100 an hour at another one, right? You never know. But you're able to do that project tracking and time tracking all in the system here. It's pretty simple to use. The time kiosk. So let me see what this one is. Okay. That's new to me. Time kiosks turn nearly any connected device into a time clock for clocking in and out. So I think yeah, I mean, I would say if that's something that interests you, make sure when you're in the sales process, you want to definitely check out how that integrates and how that might be different from some of these other features. Because my understanding was that you were able to log into either a website or the app and track your time. So I'm not sure how different that feature may be. Again, most of my clients are not using that right now, so I'd say check in on that. Workforce costing and reports. So this is good when you're trying to do, get your understanding of how much is our budget to actual for the year when we're doing planning, when we want to look at payroll, when we want to look at job costing, maybe for a big project we're going to do. This section becomes very important. Why? Well, because if we're planning to hire somebody in New York and we also know that they need a team of like 4 or 5 other people to back them up for this specific contract that we have, then we want to make sure that when we're making our pricing that we're including how much of our resources are we putting into it. So this allows you to help yourself like plan or look at the past data to project future cost of benefits, wages, all that. The tool has been very useful for me when I'm going out and looking at the company's budget for benefits. So I can say I've been in there and used that. I enjoy it. Team management tools. So Oh, okay. So this is basically the employee directory. They have org charts, different things like that in there. If you're looking to get a live sense of this in the demo, I would say definitely go ask them for the demo and make sure that you put this into your employee experience bucket because that's what this would be. You can do team signed welcome e-cards. That's pretty cool. You can have the whole team actually sign a card for somebody who just joins the team, birthday cards, all that. It's a cool way to engage. This isn't something that I've seen people use as much, but I would say that um, if you are looking, because a lot of folks, especially as you start to get to 35, 40, 50 people, and you hire somebody who's in HR fully to look at this stuff, now you're starting to graduate and get yourself ready we have to create an employee experience. We got to make our people feel welcomed. That's a tool for that. Performance reviews. This does get very important as time goes along because as you're deciding to make budget cuts or possibly promote people, you want to have performance reviews. And they've got templates and ways for you to do this all inside the system. And again, this is designed to not just be payroll, but a complete HRIS or employee management tool. Now, I will say, if you don't have people who are multi state, you might feel like some of this stuff is a lot if you're a smaller team, right? You might. A lot of the things in here are for teams that are growing. More communication has to happen. We need to have a more streamlined way to keep very consistent boundaries on how we engage with our employees. This is super helpful for that. If you're just starting off, you just want payroll very quickly, you do want to integrate a few things, the simple platform will be able to do that for you. It will. It does cover a lot. I will say that again, even here, it says comprehensive, payroll benefits and HR tools, build a great place to work. As I mentioned, a lot of these items here are all about like employee surveys and insights. You're trying to build a culture, create feedback loops. You want that employee experience to start to sing to people, right? It's very difficult if your company is at 20 or 30 people to start changing the culture overnight, but you're still in that pocket before you get to 150 people. If you're looking to get that big, it's not easy, but you can go from a B to an A culture, but it's very hard to go from a C to an A. So this is why companies like Gusto have put in a lot of these things that you can grow into, but then also the cost difference, it's not that much. It's double the cost of the simple platform, but we're talking about $80 and then $12 per person per month. That's not a lot when you look at all the things that you're getting here. Now, I will say from a service perspective, some of my clients that have HR teams that are fully in there, not all of them love Gusto. I think the customers that really love Gusto, they're all into it. They like it. And usually it's because it's the first place they've ever cut their teeth on payroll systems. Some folks that are used to more flexibility, they want more customization. They need more things that they're used to. They may look at other providers like ADP, some others. But I think Gusto has done a great job with where they're at and competing with Paychex, ADP, Paycor, Paylocity, all the big ones. I think they do a great job. So, any what I would consider small groups, this is great. Now, when you start to get above 100 or you have more complex needs, they do have the premium, which they do ask for exclusive pricing, right? Why? Well, because they're going to build you a system that makes more sense. And, this does involve, you get access to HR experts on the phone. You get access to other things. This is almost to combat what we would call like more of an ASO model or like a PEO model without the benefits, right? It will act and feel like there is a lot of support around you, and there is, and the pricing will reflect that. But they have a lot of little things they can turn on and off that go above and beyond the basics. So you will feel a lot more custom handle. You'll feel like there's a more customized approach when you use this. We haven't had a client that's gone through this full process with them yet. And, usually what I do in that situation is I would hand it off to sales and have them discuss. But when we prepare our clients to have these conversations, we want to talk about a few things. One, what is our payroll process? What resources, who's going to man the communication between the company and the payroll provider or the HR company, right? Because in a way, they're taking over HR. They're helping you out with compliance. They're helping you out with benefits. They could be doing a lot of things that are integrating with your company, but ultimately, it's the responsibility of HR to make sure those things happen. If you were to go to court, it would go back to you. It won't go back to Gusto per se. Gusto's only going to be able to handle the information that you give them and the services that they provide. So it still does take a little human interaction for you guys to be 100% confident that you got everything covered, right? But I do believe overall they do a great job here on payroll and basic HR tools. I will say, as a partner that works, I wish they had more of a broker partner program that was established, because when I deal with the team internally there, sometimes sometimes they do have a few issues where they think of us more of accountants. And that's because most of the accounting firms that use Gusto are just looking for a very quick back office payroll solution, and they don't always take the time to really set things up. But there is a good partner community out there. And a lot of our CPAs and accountants in our network actually work with the customers in some way, shape, or form. And look, as a partner for us, we have a dashboard where we have all of our clients' information in there. We're able to easily look at things and make recommendations. Just last week, there was a client that we had where we said, hey, you know what? You should likely get some Cobra services to go along with your benefits. Why is that? Well, because as an HR person, or whoever is administering the payroll, once you fire somebody, it would be really nice if you let them go. You know that you have to cut them a final check, and you do get prompted for that. And then it would be good to know that the Cobra paperwork went out on time. It would be good to know that who's going to collect those funds. Well, Gusto does have partners for that. I believe they use Basic at this time. I know for our clients, Basic hasn't always been the best as far as streamlining the communications, or when there's been issues or things that have to come up. I know our team has to get a little more involved than normally. But as a partner, if you're looking at that for your practice, or you're looking to work with somebody who is a Gusto partner, we are able to make phone calls. And because we do have a lot more clients, making sure that you're happy and that we're happy, they do a good job of that when they need to. As far as the accounting blog, the partner community, all that, you can kind of check this stuff out. And if you're looking, I know you do get assigned a rep if you want to work with Gusto. I have a rep now. I just realized that they introduced him to me a little bit later in the game when I was bringing on a few clients. But as a partner, they do have different levels too. Let's look at that. So when you become a partner, they do allow you to get you get free payroll for your firm. You can offer discounts to your clients. Some people do get paid for offering their services to Gusto. Us personally, we are not payroll experts, but we don't do the payroll for people. But me being heavily tied to HRS and payroll, and that being the industry I come from, I do like to help my clients make the decision. So I go ahead and offer them the 20% discount. But some folks have that as their revenue model. Again, they can step in and get access to this. Sometimes accountants will manage this for clients, or bookkeepers may. It's pretty cool. I would say that if you're considering doing it, definitely check them out or at least meet with them. They do give you some resources, webinars, all that. Personally, we mostly just we get in and get out of the system real quick, and our clients are happy with that. But so if you also want to look around here at more details, one of the biggest things I think to look at first is integrating workers' comp. So we're going to go into integration. So if you integrate workers' comp with them, what you're doing is you're syncing your payroll with your workers' comp, which basically allows you to pay as you go. So, oh wow. So this is new for me. So we work with Next Insurance as well, but they use Next Insurance. However, not everybody is fit for Next Insurance. So, you'll go through this process. You want to see, but if you don't use Next Insurance, I'm not sure how they underwrite you or what they do. But pay as you go, workers' comp is simple. Payroll is what dictates the amount you're going to pay for workers' comp. So with workers' comp, first you want to classify what is that employee doing. They'll have a class code. That class code that employee has, let's say it's 8810, just an office person. That 8810 says these are the things they do. They do general office work, or typing on a keyboard. They may get up and go answer the door and sit down, answer the phones. Not a lot of rough things there. So it'll be really simple. So there's a premium assigned to that, and it will be a percentage of every $100 that you pay in payroll. The reason why payroll and workers' comp should be connected is if you don't have a pay-as-you-go method connected to your payroll company, you'll go through an audit period. And audits are typically done either quarterly, they may be monthly, and they might be annual, but you have to estimate what your payroll is going to be. Some of my clients, they may end up, saying, "Hey, I think we're going to have 200,000 of payroll." Well, they had an excellent year, and then they ended up, being at $800,000 of payroll, and then surprise, hey, how did we get all this extra money that we owe? Well, it's because you increased your payroll number, and payroll times the percentage premium per $100 is where your premium number comes from. So that's why this is a cool benefit. Other than that, you want to make sure that you do keep up and you do, add and subtract people as you go along. Let's look at the financial piece. So, beyond the payday, the Gusto wallet app. So, you know what? I haven't had any clients use this quite yet, but let's check it out. So it's a debit card and checking account, and it earns interest. Well, that's just amazing. And they can manage their paycheck, save money. So look, hey, if you want somebody to if they want to get a Gusto debit card to access their paycheck, they can. That's great. They don't necessarily need to have a bank. They can go ahead and use Gusto Wallet. That's awesome. You should see if it makes sense for your team to offer that. 401k, I think it's a good idea to link 401ks to your payroll providers. Main reason being, once your employees make their deductions and they say, hey, I want to put $100 a pay period in, you can track that $100, how much it's going to be per pay period, and you can add that back into their account. So it makes it a lot easier for you to manage your 401k savings, their contributions. A lot of times they're going to end up also doing the 5500s for you. There'll be a TPA. They already have access to your account, so they'll transfer the funds pre-tax or post-tax, however your 401k is set up, into the 401k on your behalf. But you got to make sure that they do integrate with it. So that's a conversation to have during setup. Life and disability insurance. that's a benefit. So that does, tie back into that. But let's see, they may be talking about voluntary, or I don't know if they're looking at portable life and disability here. Let's see. Take care of both their health and their wealth. Let's explore their health benefits, how they do that. So they do medical, dental, vision. They do health insurance transfers at no cost. So they'll be your broker of record. And just so you know, broker of record, when they do that, they are also getting paid on the back end a commission from the insurance companies in order to manage it. Any broker gets that commission. So it's not necessarily costing you more. And like, for example, when we do take over our clients' Gusto accounts and become the broker of record for employee benefits, then we take on that commission. No matter who your broker is, somebody's going to get paid that amount. Why? Because they're the ones helping you manage. If you want to know more about how your commissions work, feel free to ask your broker. It is something that we, at least in California, are required to share. We personally like to share the commissions piece and where it goes to and how we budget it with folks, because we like people to know how we service them. They do have licensed advisors. They do give some compliance support. I will say, though, that, the reason why some people work with these firms that are larger is because it's simple. They run into it right here online. They do a great job of reaching out. The reason why somebody may switch to a broker that they know, or somebody who's looking more at their insurance strategy holistically, is because, quite frankly, it just depends who you want to work with. What's the insurance strategy? What's their philosophy? Do you want to work with a company where you're working one-on-one with an insurance advisor or not? Some of our clients, this could be an expense that's $500,000 a year. So they do want a little bit more hand holding, a little bit more personalized service. That may be why they want to work with the broker. But if you're just looking to get something in place, they are able to sync all this stuff together. Also, if Gusto is not your broker, they still allow you to enjoy the same benefits, the same employee experience. So even if you do decide to switch from Gusto as your broker to a broker of record to one that you want to work with, the employees won't feel the difference. The only thing is, I believe they charge $6 per eligible employee per month for the broker to manage the account. Or they may have a third-party solution that the broker uses to manage your benefits. Either way, you chat with your broker, see what makes sense for you. That may be important, it may not. Depends on the group. All right. If you do have high deductible plans, I think you should offer an HSA. It's only right, because then the people can go ahead and pay that high deductible with an HSA. It can roll over year. You do want to set that up. If you don't, then you're just not going to have an HSA, but you may have a high deductible plan. That's just, I see it happen, but it's just better to have an HSA. The employees that are looking for HSAs, they'll want to use it. Disability insurance, flex spending accounts, life insurance, dependent care FSAs, all these things are super important, and it's really good to have it tied to payroll. Why? Because the deductions come right out of payroll, and the employees, a lot of times when they're looking at their net checks, they'll want to see that. Okay? So that's that. Other than that, when we look at the other items here, we always recommend going to the integration site, checking out if you have different softwares that you can add in here. And why would you want to add certain software? Well, you might have accounting. Here's all the different things that go in there. You might have like an expense management. You might have even like a certain type of, performance management system that you prefer, time tracking system you prefer. There's a lot of different things that you can do inside this system. And Gusto does allow for an ecosystem to be used inside there, because they realize everybody's not going to just want to put everything into Gusto. They may have multiple different items that are connected to other services. Hey, look, if you want to work with Gusto, we're happy to give you our Think HR and Insurance Services discount that we get through our firm, and see if it makes sense for you. We're also happy to introduce you to the people that we work with directly. And as you go through that buying process, we're here with you to answer questions as a third party. We're also here to tell you if we think it's a good solution on our side. But generally, we do support all of our clients and all of our partners. And we always say, let's see what makes sense for you and go through the process. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any other questions and talk to you soon. Good luck.